You're probably asking yourself, what are some of the money management tips that you can implement today to start seeing results? On which today's video is actually going to be speaking about that. One thing that I want to be doing is that I'm going to be talking more about 6 money tips for traders to go out there and become millionaires. What I've done is that I've been able to see throughout my progress from being a college broke kid to all the way being able to just live their life at the fullest. I've been able to see some of the money tips that I've been able to implement that help me be able to reach success a bit more quicker. So today I'm going to be sharing those tips with you. I'll be breaking them down up until from 1 up until the 6th, and I'm just excited that you'll stay up until the end because that's when you'll gain a lot of value from them. But if you haven't before, just make sure that you do like this video, comment below, tell me what is that one tip that actually helped or changed you, and on top of that, just subscribe to my YouTube channel because now we are going to be speaking about 6 money tips that a trader or any trader out there can actually implement and start seeing millions in their account. The first point that we are going to be speaking about is one of the most important, and I believe for me is actually one of the best points that you can actually think about, which is to preserve your capital. I understand that what you'll be thinking is me trying to give you strategies of how you can 10 times your account or what you should do in order to just see massive growth, but no one out there is talking about you being able to preserve your capital, on which for me I wanted to dive in a bit more deeper into this and what I mean by that. Obviously, as a trader, that means that when you've got a trading account, you will always be a trader as long as you've got a trading account. But if you do happen to lose that money, whether it's $1,000 that you just blew and you haven't got any money in your account, it automatically means that you're not a trader because you haven't got funds in your trading account. You're not trading with the live account, so you're not a trader. You can't be saying that you're a trader when you've blown your account. So the most important thing for you to consistently be a trader that's profitable is to do what? Is to preserve your capital, because when you do happen to preserve your capital, you are able to show up the next day. It's either maybe with your net worth a bit more better or maybe at the same level, but you're able to shop in the markets the next day and that other next day and the other next day, and you're able to participate. And with that being said, that means that you are able each and every single day to possibly engage in the markets that have traded like over $6.6 trillion every single day, which means that there's a high chance that you can strike an opportunity within those markets to go home with some capital. But the first thing you should do is to preserve your capital. Make sure that you do not lose as much as you're comfortable with, and make sure that you only lose a specific amount of capital, whether it's a day, a full day, whether it's on a full trading session, whether it's in a full week. Make sure that you do not lose more than you are comfortable with. That is the first point. So now let us move over to the second point. So now the second tip out of all these top 6 tips that every trader out there needs in order to become a millionaire is that you need to now invest into a business or a side hustle. So what I mean by this is that obviously maybe with trading you're making money, whether you're making enough money, whether you do, as long as you're making an income from trading, now you just need to start looking at what is it that you can do in order to preserve or to provide value to others, and you can be paid for that. It could either, your side hustle could either be in terms of a service that you can offer to people, or it could be in terms of a product that you are selling to people, but something that's worth of value that people out there can spend their money, give them to you in order for them to actually be get to where they want to be using your values. Using that thing that you're providing, whether it's a service or a product, and that way you can be able to make a profit just by doing that. So let me give you a quick example. Let's say now you're trading, you've got $1,000 to your name trading account and stuff. So what you do is that once you've preserved your capital and now you're consistent, let's say you're just on the other side, or maybe you're not losing as much, what you should be doing now is, at least when you are investing in a side hustle, let's say I'm not too sure what example I can use, but let's say now you are a person that loves photography, you take pictures and stuff. So let's say if you love photography, then now you can start doing what, instead of just trading all day and looking at what you can do in the markets making millions or a lot of money, what you should be doing now is going over and then looking at what business can you start under photography. Maybe now you've got the funds that you can build a website, buy the right cameras, put yourself out there, spend on marketing just so people can be able to see your services and people can be able to book out your services. And maybe during the weekends you can go out there and physically shoot pictures, or if you're getting a lot of bookings, what you can do is just delegate that work, get someone out there to become a photographer, and then you are going to stay back and just continue treating that as a side hustle, something that's going to help you be able to just win in the longer term run. So that is the second point. Moving over now to the third point. So now the third point on some of the top 6 money tips that traders out there can actually use to become millionaires. The third one that we are going to be speaking about today is that you need to invest in passive capital. So now passive capital is literally you being able to take some of that money that you're making, whatever money that you're seeing, or whatever money that you actually have at that specific time. It doesn't have to be a lot. You can start with literally $100 a month putting into there. So what happens is that you are now taking this money and you are saying, go out there, go create more friends, more money friends, and basically go work and create more money for yourself. You understand? So instead of you just having to put in that work, because when you're trading your time for money, meaning that you're analyzing on the charts, you're placing that buy, you are managing, you're closing, you've made a profit. Also with your side hustle, it could be something that, like, you're busy with it's a business, you're going to be taking time and stuff. But now with passive capital, what happens is that all you do is just put money aside, and with you putting that money aside, more money is actually going to be made via dividends or via passive income or via any method, depending on whatever passive income vehicle you have choose to go for. But I highly suggest that you do this method, because when you do this method, you're going to trade stress freely, because you know that there's passive income coming no matter what. You're also going to be able to just invest more on your business, because you do know that that money that you get in your side hustle, the more money you make, the more you're able to bring back into your passive capital. And when you do happen to invest back into your passive capital, it means that your monthly dividends or your yearly or your quarterly dividends becomes a bit more better for you. So that is the third step. Let us move over to the fourth step. So now the fourth step on some of the money tips that you can use today as a trader in order to become a millionaire. The fourth step is that you need to now start paying extra attention onto bad credit or bad debt, and you need to start using what? Good debt. So now let me break down the two differences. Bad debt would simply be like, let's say when you've got access to a credit card, that credit card has maybe 10,000 worth of credit that you can use to get anything that you want. But instead, what you decide to do is that you focus a bit more on using that to buy new pairs of shoes, or use that to buy a new pair of something that is not worth of value, in terms of it's not going to be making you more money, or it's not an investment into your business, but maybe it's just for lifestyle purposes. And that is not bad credit, because you are in debt, but it's a negative debt, compared to if, let's say, you've got access to a credit card that has access to maybe 10,000, and when you've got that, what happens is that you decide that, okay, with this money, I'm instead gonna invest it in my business, or I'm instead gonna fund my training account, or I'm instead gonna buy a course. So use that money to buy a course. That is now good debt. You know why? Because you used money that you haven't got yet in order to build up on a skill that you know for sure that skill is gonna give you money in the longer term run. So that is what you should be doing. You should be focusing more on cutting out bad debt. Don't use money for weekend things, or maybe drinkings, or things that are not going to benefit you in the long term, just because maybe people make you, or the way that you look and stuff. It's obviously a temporary feeling that you get excited, some sort of success, but in the longer term run, it's not going to be used nicely, and you need to be focusing more on good debt, because good debt, what it does is that you build wealth with it. I've seen a lot of billionaires and literally multi-millionaires that are using good debt. They use these debts, speak with banks, be able to cut deals in order for them to have bigger loans, but they use those loans to actually they turn credit into cash, because what they do is that they use those loans, the capital, into building businesses, or using funding into things that they know will give them monthly income. So they're using debt in order to literally get passive income or monthly cash cows. So that's actually something that I'm excited with, and I feel like it's a game changer if you use it the right way. But obviously if you don't, then you should be watching this up until the very end. But obviously now we are moving over to the next point on some of the 6 money tips traders need in order to become millionaires. So now the fifth point that I want us to speak about is something that most people are aware of, but they're not doing it as is. I'm also guilty of this, because there was a time frame whereby I was very consistent with it, and it happened that a time frame whereby I stuck a bit more with I was a bit stuck and I wasn't too consistent. So the fifth point is actually you being able to give back 10% of your income. So what I mean by this is that, let's say you've got obviously $1,000 and you doubled your account, you made an extra $1,000. What you can do with that is that if you're withdrawing that $1,000 fully, you can easily just withdraw the $1,000, take $100 and then give back. So giving back doesn't necessarily mean that you have to maybe go to a specific charity and throw, or do something specific to that. Giving back could simply be it's either you can just buy a couple of food, give to people that you meet up in the streets with, or it could be giving back, let's say using that money to buy resources that for sure you will help more people. Let's say now, for instance, I can use that $100 to buy let's say 10 shirts, and I'll give those 10 shirts, or 10 jerseys, and I'll give those 10 jerseys to to people that are in need of that during cold time frames. But the most important thing is being able to just spend that money in giving it back, because what it does is that it shows that the more you have, the more you give. So if you want to give over 1 million people, the benefits of, I don't know, something or food or whatever that you feel like it's a problem that you need to solve, what it does is that it'll help you be able to reach bigger goals, be able to make more money, because the more money you make, the more you actually do happen to give back. So obviously you'll get more blessings even from God. God actually wants you to give. The more you give, the more you get. So even if he says that and he sees that you are doing that, he's going to approve your plans, and he's actually going to bless you with more. So give back at least 10% of the money that you make. Now let us move over to the sixth and final point. The sixth and final point of some of the 6 top money tips that you can implement today as a trader in order to become a millionaire is that, obviously guys, this is the most important thing. You need to improve your skills. The most important thing about any individual is their skills. I mean, like for instance, anyone that you value out there is because of the skills that they have. If you love someone because of let's say for instance Cristiano Ronaldo, he's valued because of what? Because of the skills that he has in the field playing soccer. And whatever field, maybe it could be like, Serena Williams, something similar to that. What she's good at playing tennis, and it's a skills that she has towards that craft. And any field, top leaders, like, anyone that you'd know out there, people such as like your Pedro David, your George Soros. Your George Soros is like very good at being consistent within the markets. There's a skill of him being able to be over 20 years consistently profitable in the market that actually made him be, the best trader, let's put it that way, in history. So I need you guys to be able to just invest in your skills. The more you invest in your skills, the more you become better, because your skills are literally you putting seeds today in order for you to harvest in the next few days or in the next few months. Because what it does is that the more you learn, the more you acquire, the more you apply those knowledges that you're getting, it actually increases your mindset. When your mindset increases, it changes your perspective. It also increases your finances and everything around you. So you are able to just become a better person with better finances and with better relationships close to you. So you need to improve your skills. If you're not improving your skills on a daily basis, then obviously it means that you are not growing. It means that the previous day and today, you're still the same person. Even if you made, like, say, $100 today, you're still the same person. If you didn't learn anything today, that tomorrow. So even if you make another $100, it doesn't mean that you are progressing. You are making $100 because that's the only thing that you know how to make. You don't know how to make $1,000. And if you actually want to make $1,000, you need to improve your skills, learn the right methods that are needed in order of you to be able to get at that level. So those are things that you need to be doing. Obviously guys, if you happen to have found the value from my YouTube video, make sure that you comment below one tip that you think I left out that actually a trader out there needs in order of them to become millionaires. But on top of that guys, one thing that I need from you is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with someone that you believe needs to listen or see all these tips that are going to be beneficial in their lives. It's a boy Mutupi. Thank you so much for watching, and I highly appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next YouTube video.